Good morning, happy people! Today, we here in the backyard at Forever Plantaholic Garden, behind the house, and we're gonna have a special project. We have 4 furry overlords, and they have demanded that we build them a catio. So, we got the space over here behind the house where we really can't grow anything because it's all mucky and watery. So I'm gonna build up a deck platform above that and build them a 6 foot by 9 foot by 8 foot tall enclosed catio, so they can come outside and lounge around in the sun and catch lizards and things like that. So let's take a look at what we're working with. So this is the area. The catio is going to go from about where that pole is, which connects the shade sail, all the way over to just past this edge of the window over here, enclosing that whole window, and about 8 feet tall. So that means we're going to have to remove a couple of these plumeria plants, and I'm going to cut all the tips off and get them ready to put in pots like these we did a couple years ago, and get them growing in pots so that we can take them with us to the property. Meanwhile, got to take them out though. I'm gonna leave one over here, this yellow one in the back. It's nice and tall. That'll give them some shade, and gives them something to smell. I might have to make it so that they can't bite the leaves, because the plumeria is bad for cats if they get it ingested. So we'll have to figure out how to keep them away from it. Maybe put some clear plastic, hard plastic, like I'm gonna put on the roof on that side of the wall so they can see it but they can't get to it. That, and we have to move all these pots over closer to the corner here to make room in here. And I'm gonna have to remove the blueberry bush and the lemon tree, and that rack back there is gonna move because I'm gonna have a tunnel coming off the side of the catio to another box, which is going to be an enclosed outdoor litter box for the cats. So that's what we're working with, and that's the plan. So let's get to work. So these are the Furry Overlords. We have Hammy, Sir Richard Hammond. We have Clarkson, Sir Clarky Boots. We have Jamae, Queen Jipoopoo. And last but not least, we have Stiggy Boots. Stiggy. What are you doing? What you doing? There's Stiggy. Hi, Stiggy Boots. Everybody's hungry? Good morning, guys. You want treats? Okay. Hammy. All right, come on, guys. He's looking at me saying, "Human, build the catio. Do it now." So I'm gonna start out by cutting the plumeria here back and taking the leaves off and cutting them into about little, I don't know, 9 to 12 inch long sections, the tips of this, so that we can dry them out and plant them. I'll pull the leaves out later. pulling the stump out. Not much to it. You can see it's all sobby, wet, and mucky because it sits in water over here. So unclip the phone so I can show you what we're dealing with. So that's the hole it just came out of. It's full of water. That's why we can't grow anything back here, really. All right, I'm gonna go pull this other stump out and we'll come back. All right, we're getting there. I got the plumeria both pulled out, cut up most of it here in chunks to go in the trash. All these tops will get the leaves plucked off and dried out, and we'll plant them in pots here in a couple months. Over here are the two stumps. They really just pulled right out of the ground. It was not much to it. And I was able to, just by hand, pull up the T-post that we had in the ground holding the plumeria, because it was just basically sitting in muck. So it just came right out. I have this sprinkler head here with a pipe coming back this way to the main pipe, which is in here somewhere underneath the mulch. So I'm gonna have to reroute that over to the side. And it just has a little 1/4-inch sprinkler head that was in the middle of all the plumeria, so it'll get moved over there to water those. And so we'll reroute that over that way, and that's pretty much our space. Still got to move the blueberry and the lemon tree, and that's our 9 feet wide by 6 foot deep, and we'll go 8 foot tall. So just a little bit of DIY on plumeria plants. If you cut them off in chunks like this, about 12 inches long, and you break all the leaves off, you can leave a couple of the tiny ones on the tips like that, and then you put them in a box and dry them out for a few weeks or a couple months. Then you can basically just stick them in a pot of soil, throw some rooting compound on the tips of it, and plop it in a container of soil, and they'll grow. Look at all those. That's how we did them. Plumeria makes such beautiful flowers. Look at that. This is a white and pink and yellow one. Some of the other ones we have are like dark pink and white and full pink and almost red. But they are some beautiful flowers, and they smell really good. Here's one of the dark pink ones that we have. Very beautiful. So, to fix this pipe, the sprinkler head on it, we have our PVC cutting tool. We're going to cut it back here somewhere, install a 90-degree elbow, and use the same piece, just reinstall it going over that way. And we have our PVC cement and primer over here, so we can get that all accomplished. So first of all, I need to reposition myself. Alright, so we're going to cut it probably about right here. All right, yeah, it looks good. Okay. primer. Into the pipe. Glue. This guy here. And we want elbow perpendicular like that. Like that. All right, folks, we did it. So we've got the pipe now reoriented over that way, so we have space for our catio deck. So on to the next step. Okay, so we got everything cleared out. We adjusted the irrigation pipe to the side. We cleared out all the plants on this side and this side. So now we're going to measure our rough space so we know how much wood we need to buy to build the floor for now. So since I'm coming basically from this side here over to the window, it's 9 feet to the edge of the window. So if I come off of that a couple inches, it'll offset it here a couple inches. So we're going to go 9 feet wide. And we're going to come out to the edge of the bricks, basically to the wall. So we're 6 feet square foot. So I'll have to go measure, calculate out the square footage, 6 foot by 9 foot. Which 6 times 9 is 54, so we need 54 square foot of decking material to build a deck. And that's going to be step number 1. We've gone and bought some materials. I got some cinder blocks. And pile of lumber over here to make the floor. So first step will be to kind of level the cinder blocks in the front and dig the cinder blocks in the back underneath the window down to be level with the ones in the front here. So we can level that out so that we have a level surface to mount our floor joists to and the floor. So that's what we're gonna do. All right, so like I said, the first thing we got to do is level up the front here. I don't know if you can really see it at that angle, but there's kind of a step here and a step there, and these bricks are kind of all like that. So we're gonna try and bring them down to the same level height and make them as level as possible for our floor. So we're gonna scoop out some dirt out of here trying to level this out. Okay, so this first row seemed fairly level. I got a couple more bricks here that I gotta get under and scoop some dirt out. I'll call that good enough. Let's dig out the bricks in the back now. Alright, so what I'm doing over here is I'm digging out the space for this cinder block to sit in. And then I have to dig it a little deeper probably to make it level with the cinder blocks in the front. So when I run a level from front to back, it's all level. Okay, currently we're a little high in the back, so we got to dig that brick a little bit lower. So right now this is all mulch sitting on top of the fabric, pretty much. So I'm gonna have to move the fabric or cut the fabric so I can get underneath it to dig. For now, let's see if we can get this mulch out the way. I got the kitty playing with the window inside. When my phone died yesterday, I was digging the cinder blocks in the corners in the ground. So we got that done, and now we're going to go up front and cut the stringers that come across to make the deck floor for the catio. Let's go. So we got the chop saw all set up out here. I got a couple of the boards cut, and I've got 4 more to go, so we're gonna get those cut up. So I made this here jig using some plywood and some scraps to space out my 2x4s on the frame exactly evenly across the 8-foot length the end boards. So what I do is I put the board in here, flip this upside down so that the boards on the back all kind of drop down into the groove like that. You can check my flush over here, knock it in just a little bit. All right, nice and flush. Got all that in. Now I'm going to run 2 screws in the end of it, and then I'll move this over between that board and the board that I'm about to put in, and everything should be all lined up. And then I'll do the same thing at the other end, and everything will be perfectly lined up. Bam! Took like 10 minutes. Got the entire deck frame built. Everything is exactly the same dimension. perfectly centered and spaced. So now I gotta try and move this thing over to, gotta clear all these extra bricks out of here, but I gotta move it over here and lay it down. I'm sure it's gonna shift, so I'll have to get it all squared up and then start putting the deck boards on. All right, let me get to it. All right, got the base set in place, all squared up using the carpenter square. Now we can start adding deck boards. These guys over here for the floor. All right, deck is done. We ended up with the tiny overhang over here because I put about a 1/2 inch gap between each of the boards so that it would breathe, because it is wet under there all the time. Nothing I can do about it, so I did want it to breathe. So we got probably about 50 square feet of space, but I like to say cats don't just live horizontal, they live vertical. So by the time this is done, they will have 400 cubic feet of living space outside to play in. So yeah, just a pro tip, I've never used these before. This is my first time, but I am in love with these construction screws. Instead of having Phillips head, they use a star bit. I don't know if we can get that to focus. But anyway, they use a star bit. Yeah, focus. Whatever. But yeah, I put in I don't know how many screws and not had one single slip of the head. Like if I were using regular Phillips screws, putting in 3.5 inch long screws, it'd have been stripping the heads of the screws out. So I'm really in love with these screws. I think I'm not going to use anything else but these things from now on. I didn't use the whole box. I just the box fell on the floor and dumped all over the place, so the screws are in a bag in the garage. I just grabbed a handful and put them in here. But yeah, so deck is done. Next we got to go get some material to start building the frame and the walls. All right, laters. So to keep critters from crawling up underneath here, I'm going to use I got this mesh material here, so I'm going to roll this out and tack it along the bottom here and put it like up underneath the mulch in like an L-shaped blanket so that critters can't crawl up underneath the deck and be up under there. So yeah, other than that, I mean, it's solid. Jumping up and down. Nada. Solid as a rock. Good song. Deuces.